co-founder of C Literacy, and I'm really excited to be able to interview you today. Can you just like give us a little background information on you and who you are and what you do?
All right, so hi, my name's Sasi, and I recently graduated from high school, and I'm here today to talk about writing because I do lots of writing for literary magazines, and I also am part of the staff for many. So I just wanted to talk about writing and what I love about it and how to get into it.
That is so interesting, and congrats, by the way, for graduating high school. It's a very big accomplishment. I'm almost there, but so what initially got you into writing?
So what initially got I started writing when I was little, and what really got me into writing was doing it in school, like writing creative stories. And I thought, hey, this is a fun way to just put my imagination out there. And I did stop writing for a little bit of time, but when I got back into it again, I used it more as a way to channel my thoughts and emotions on how I feel in daily life and focus more on simple things versus like the imaginative, more fantasy-like things I did when I was little.
And what is your favorite aspect of writing? Like whenever you just like what do you feel whenever you start writing?
So my favorite aspect of writing is how it allows you to express yourself. So I feel like it's very hard to put your emotions into words sometimes, and I feel like writing is a great way to be able to do that without having to directly tell anyone your feelings because I know it's very hard to do that. But when you write, it's like something you can keep personal to yourself or share out to the world if you wanted to. And it's like a very artistic way of doing so, and it allows you to combine your creativity and how you're feeling into one. And that's my favorite aspect of it.
Hmm. And what do you do to get your writing skills to evolve and get better every day?
So what I do a lot is I write very short poems, like maybe 4 to 5 lines long, and I feel like that really helps me kind of narrow down what I need to work on when it comes to poetry and writing. And it also helps me kind of come up with ideas because when I do like the short things, I kind of like branch off from them and then I make them into longer poems. And yeah, I think just doing like short little poems like every day or sometimes when I get busy every week really helps me kind of practice and get better at writing and expressing my feelings.
What would you say your writing process looks like? Like, do you think about it before, or do you just like get a pencil or like your notebook and just write? Like, what does it look like?
So it kind of depends. Most of the time, I just come up with an idea with something I see or feel. Then I kind of just write something down on like a Google Doc or a piece of paper. And then I take what I have and I kind of refine it to be more like artistic and poetry like, or rather than just like a word jumble. And then I kind of like edit it a little to give it more of that poetry like feel. I do a lot more poetry than prose. So that's why I'm talking about poetry. And for prose, most of the time it's just I come up with like a plot point and then I kind of branch off from there. I kind of just think of characters, how I would set up the story, and then I kind of just like envision like a timeline for the story and then I write it.
Would you have any tips for young girls or boys who are interested and want to get into literary magazines and writing?
So if you're looking to submit to literary magazines, I think two great resources for that are Instagram because there are a lot of start like student-led literary magazines, sorry, that are starting out there and they're very willing to take submissions from aspiring writers. And another good resource is Chill Subs because they kind of have a database with a bunch of magazines that you can submit to, and they range from stuff that accept like nearly anything to really competitive things. So if you're wanting to get into writing and kind of see what type of magazines are going to accept your work, I think Chill Subs is a great way to just find magazines to submit your work to and kind of see where you are and where you want to be. And Instagram, it's also a great way to become like a staff writer or just be on the staff of literary magazines. But it's still really helpful for finding like magazines that are starting out or are very prominent and just getting your writing out there.
Do you have a favorite piece that you've written, like your all-time favorite?
Ooh, I don't really have a favorite piece per se, but there was a time where I wrote a bunch of small poems about things kind of being lost to time or decaying, and I think those pieces are my favorite because they to me they kind of expressed my feelings about growing up and the worry of like the memories I had when I was little being lost to time and losing what and like the feeling of potentially losing myself. And those pieces are my favorite. I wouldn't say I have a favorite specific piece, but I think like that era, if you want to call it that, is my favorite.
That is so awesome, by the way. I just love hearing like people who have like a genuine, love for something talk about it. It's so, I don't know, motivating. But do you like have some like what motivated you to, like start your writing journey and to continue it as well?
So when I was little, I wouldn't submit anywhere. It was just like writing for myself, and I did quit writing for a while, and then I got back into it. And what really motivated me to get back into it was, first of all, seeing literary magazines on Instagram and thinking those would be a fun place to submit to, and second, just realizing how much I really loved creativity and the arts. I did join a club at my school that combined technology and creativity together. And that kind of made me realize that while I do want to do something more STEM oriented in the future, I also want to be able to do something more creative at the same time. And when I realized that around the same time, I'd been seeing literary magazines popping up on Instagram, and I'd also been kind of having that little itch into wanting to get back into writing, and the feeling of wanting to get back into writing combined with the desire to be more creative is what made me motivated to write.
What has literature and writing like helped and or changed your life?
I think writing has helped me become more self-aware about myself and kind of just have more self-introspection and learn more about who I am and who I want to be also. And I wouldn't say right now I've been done anything like super big with writing, but to me it's really helped me understand myself. And I feel like I've changed with writing because I feel like I've been able to become more self-aware and just kind of find out who I am and who I want to be in the future. And through my writing, sometimes I like find out about my worries, and then I kind of, want to try to just stop being worried all the time. And writing has also helped me become like a way less stressed person and way less anxious because I'm just not bottling up all of my feelings inside. I'm kind of pouring them out.
And finally, my last question is if you could tell something for young Sasi, what would it be?
If I were to tell something to the younger version of myself, it would be to keep writing because when I was little, I did like writing and I stopped it for some time. And I think it would have been really helpful to have continued writing during the times when I stopped, which was like around middle school-ish. And yeah, I would have just told her like, hey, if you like writing, just keep writing. Like even if you do have like lots of academic related stuff or extracurricular related stuff that's not writing, you should still set aside a little bit of time for it as well because it's really helped shape you in the future. And I think you could have used it sooner.
Thank you so much, Sasi. It has been honestly so great to hear you talk about your passion and your love for writing and um, magazines. It is such a privilege to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be being able to do this interview with you and She Literacy. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.